Welcome to another episode of the Signature Sip podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. Her name is Anna, and she is the president of the Millburn-Short Hills Chamber of Commerce and also the owner of two awesome magazines, both in Morris City, which covers a lot of affluent towns in Morris County, and also the Chatham and Short Hills City Lifestyle magazine. So welcome, Anna. I'm glad to have you on.
Thank you, John. Happy to be on.
Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about how print media and also really getting involved in the community through the chamber and collaborating with both the magazine and the Chamber of Commerce, how you can really improve your brand. So if you are a small business owner, a realtor, or somebody that provides a service to these geographic locations in New Jersey, this is going to be an awesome episode for you. And it's going to be an opportunity for you to understand how you can expose your brand a little bit more. So, Anna, how long have you been the president of the Chamber of Commerce in Millburn-Short Hills?
I actually have been president for the past 7 months. And I have to say that this is something that you don't do alone. I am the president, but I have a very active board that I'm very grateful for because they're all volunteers. And they show up. They show up for the town. They show up for our members. And since day one, we always look for ways to make things better. How many of us belong to different chambers? We've analyzed what can we offer that's different. We also looked internally and say, what are we doing right? What can we do better? And in every chamber event that we've had, our monthly Coffee with the Chamber, which we actually, you hosted us here, thank you, is what can we do above and beyond our monthly cadence of Coffee with the Chamber? And when I looked at our board, I said, wow, I'm an entrepreneur, but on our board, we also have folks who work for major brands. And when I looked at that, I said, we are the business community. We understand that because our board is made up of that mix. Right. And
you do a ton of events.
Yes. And so that's some of the things that we brought new in the past 7 months. We had our first evening event. We had at a local spa in Springfield, because the beauty of a local chamber is that you can be a business that doesn't have a brick and mortar in town. It could be a home-based business, like we have someone in Short Hills who actually makes these beautiful candles, and she shows up to chamber events for corporate gifts. Yes, and we also have Evive Spa in Springfield, or a printer as far away as in Newark. So these are folks who understand the value of being a part of an active chamber where they can, and I always say at every chamber event, you may see the same people, get to know them. It's not transactional, it's relationship.
But it's also the connections, right? I've met a couple people when we hosted the coffee event here for the chamber, and I met a bunch of people that introduced me to other people. Right. So it's it's all the people that they know. I always like going to networking events and meeting people because especially people that are really involved and they go to a lot of events, right? Typically it's the business development person in that business. They know so many people, right? So how can people hear about your events and get involved in the chamber? What's the website?
So a couple of things is we obviously have an active website, and we also have social media, and I track the growth. That was one of the things that when we developed a scorecard 7 months ago is what are we tracking? We're tracking engagement opportunities. That's what we have, new events. We're tracking retention. How many of members want to stay with us? And what can we do better by asking them, what is it that you need? What have you seen at other chambers that we can bring to you here? And we're also tracking growth, new members.
Yeah, running it like a business.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. But I have to stress, this is something that we do together and as a board, because we're all volunteers, we're all busy with our businesses and our families, and it matters when you build that reputation of giving and that you are there for the community. I feel very grateful and very thankful that we had our 44th President's 5K run here in town. And every year we welcome tons of runners. This year we had almost 800 runners come into town. and looking at this and seeing, my God, how many volunteers do we need to run the after party? I reached out to a few community nonprofits as well as Signature Realty, and I said, Nino, just wanted to know, you guys built a beautiful office here. You hosted the chamber here for Coffee with the Chamber. Any chance you guys want to volunteer and give out pizza to 800 runners coming into town for the after party? And the answer was absolutely yes. And I think that's something that, advice-wise, is don't think of transactions. Think of being an expert in your community, but also be a part of the community. Right. And
one thing is to market
yes.
to a community that you're trying to get business from. Another thing is to be involved in it.
Yeah, let them see
and
you.
Be part of the events.
Let them remember you as someone who genuinely cares about the community and is a community member, whether it's a luxury community or not. They will remember you. So in one email, I had 10 of your signature agents just raise their hands and say, I want to give out pizza on a super hot summer day.
Our agents are awesome.
Yes, they are. And I said, please show up with your logo, if you have any branded shirts, and I said this to everyone who participated. If you came from a local business and you're volunteering, let people see who you are as part of the community. Yeah. And it was amazing. And they stayed so late. They were there like a wedding up until closing time. They were amazing.
That's awesome. And so what's the website that people can learn more about the events?
It's the Millburn-Short Hills Chamber of Commerce.org.
Okay. Awesome. So go to that, check out all the events that they have, and collaborate. And you're also the owner of 2 amazing magazines. You helped us put our magazine together, so you really understand the whole world of print media, advertising, and we thought it was an amazing project that we all put together, and you helped us. We wouldn't have been able to do it without you, so thank you so much for that. So talk to us a little bit about Morris City Lifestyle and Chatham and Short Hills City Lifestyle magazines.
Sure. So it starts with when realtors or any local business owner thinks about plans, a marketing strategy, is first you have to understand who you are, and that's where you show up. That's who you partner with, right? So when we positioned ourselves as a lifestyle content quality upscale publication.
Why don't you show them what it looks like?
Okay, sure. So I like to say that we feature local celebrities, like before you had Signature Living, right? Michelle was in both of our magazines. So I like to say we would feature our local celebrities like Michelle to well-known celebrities, Guy Fieri, who was in town. And our magazines are just really about quality lifestyle content and finding a way that we can help promote that business in a meaningful, memorable way. For example, it's more than just the ad. The ad is important because from that ad, they're going to go to your website or your social media and learn more. And I think most people don't know, John, how the purchasing funnel works. And the purchasing funnel works in simplest 3 rings. The top of the funnel is awareness. Who are you and what you do? The second part of the funnel is consideration. Ooh, I do need a new car, or I do need new kitchen cabinets. I may be selling my home. I do need a realtor. You will not make it to the consideration phase if you're not in the first part of the ring, which is awareness. Who you are and what you do. Are you memorable? And then the last part of the funnel is buy. And that's the way we all purchase. So that's why I always say that from Mercedes to McDonald's, these brands advertise, we know who they are, but they want us to remember and be top of mind when it comes to that purchasing funnel of any new cars that may have come out, any new sandwiches from McDonald's that I may want to go and try, right? So the same applies to local, independent, small businesses, is awareness, consideration, and then buy. And that happens with frequency. So an ad is, look at it as a small billboard that is meant to start building that visual connection with your audience.
Yeah.
Right? With your future
and there's
customer.
also a call to action, right? I think a lot of independent small business owners sometimes, they look at advertising very differently. Some people look at it as a cost. Some people look at it as an investment, right? It's a return. And what I like about magazines, which is a little bit different than digital. Digital, the advertising is a lot broader, right? Here you're targeting a specific local audience and a specific demographic, right? A lot of times people that are selling their homes, they're older, right? They're not 20, they're not 30, right? They're 40, they're 50, they're 60, they're 70, they're 80. And print media is very relevant to that demographic, and especially if you're advertising. And there's something emotional, right, about the physical, we were talking a little bit before the podcast started, and we were talking about, why is it important to have print media versus digital? So why don't you share with them a little bit about the attention span and things like that, like we were discussing.
So you do need to have a great marketing mix. So print is different, and it's premium today. Right. So think about the digital world. We all have digital fatigue. I think my phone every night tells me how long I've been on the phone today.
Screen time.
Yeah, screen time. And I think that we just have information overload, but you still need to be seen, right? So you still need to do those targeted ads on social within geofence, the same area that you're doing advertising in. So that way your marketing works together. Right. So if you're mailing out,
and they feed each other, right?
Right, exactly.
If they see you online, they might stop and look at your marketing on print.
Yes.
And on print, they'll stop. It's a little bit of a slower situation, which is good.
Yes.
Right. They might be reading an article on you. They might be, really looking at it because they're flipping through, and then there might be a call to action or a QR code.
Yeah. So let me touch on that. An ad, the purpose of an ad is in that purchasing funnel is to build that brand awareness, right? And your ad can change every month, but the messaging, we have a salon in Chatham that advertises with us at Glaze. Their messaging is very simple. It's where beautiful hair is just the beginning. And that's memorable, right? So you need, and less is more. So my advice is anyone looking to advertise, start off with something. If you can only afford a quarter page and maybe you can't afford it every month, do it every other month.
Right.
Because you're still being seen.
There's still frequency.
Yes. Have a QR code that takes you to a website where they can learn more about you. And don't overload it with content, because remember, the point of an ad is to start building that brand awareness of who you are and what you do, what services you provide, so that people can get to know you, your future customers. You start building what I call a visual relationship. Now add on to the story. Now let's add on to the story. Our stories are written by professionals. We schedule interviews. And I always look for, what is that special something? When we featured Michelle, it was about, here's an example. This issue wasn't for the women's issue, it was for our investment issue. And it's called Investing in You. So it's about entrepreneurship and women growth and, everything in her journey so that people can learn. So it's not selling a house.
Right. It's not about, selling your house for top dollar.
Exactly. It's about
people getting to know you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And the same for Signatures Living with your latest issue. Yeah. Right. So there's a lot of warmth in here that talks about. Well,
that was the June issue, right?
Yes. That just published, right?
So it's Father's Day.
Yes. Yeah. Father's Day with Building Memories with you and Madison.
Yep.
And also, a banana pancake story, because these things matter, right? So looking for the warmth, looking for the value. What is someone getting out of that article? Real estate expertise, that matters, right? So we have a realtor down the shore who has an exclusive with us. No one else from LBI. So agents out there from LBI, if you're from LBI, do not contact me, because this is the only agent that can advertise in both of our magazines. She owns the LBI geography in our magazine. But she's someone that also values the stickiness of print, because we stick to the coffee table, but the value of content. So the stories,
and she's marketing up here for vacation homes.
Correct. And what she does is the stories have been about LBI, and how when you go over the bridge, it feels like you're already on vacation, feels like a different place. And then she highlighted some of the local restaurants or just some of those best kept secrets. And that kind of content, and that she lives there, right?
Well, it gives you thought leadership,
Yes.
and you're an expert.
Yes.
The goal is to get people to connect with you, but then also show the expertise in specific things. And print can do that in the same way that social media can do that. You can shoot videos at a house
Yes.
or in a town and interview business owners and things like that. So, it's a kind of a segue, but a lot of people do, they overlook, I feel, print media now. Some people say print media is dead. So what do you say to those people?
It is absolutely not dead. Because when you think about the fantastic job Signature Realty does with all of your branding platforms, you've gone from advertising in local community publications like mine to actually starting one of your own. And as savvy marketers, I know you would not have done that if you didn't believe in the power of print.
Michelle's one of the top agents in New Jersey and the country. So, why would a top agent want print media and have a local magazine in an area where we're really trying to, show people who we are, right? And I think a lot of people do overlook the idea of print media because they're like, oh, how many people are actually going to see it? It gets mailed out to thousands of people, but how many people are flipping to that page and seeing it? But depending on your service, right? If a few people get to know you and then they use you, that right there, the return is fantastic, right? On social media, we were talking about how people are just scrolling, right? And yeah, you have a video that's great, and you are making an impact on social media. It's not about poo-pooing it, but it's a slower, you're slowing down and you have to actually have it. You're getting it in the mailbox and then you're flipping the page and you're reading the article, which I feel like the attention span on social media is very, very quick. Like if you don't grab somebody's attention with a really important headline or, something really catchy or something really ridiculous, right? You're not getting them. On the magazine, you're getting higher intent customers.
Yes.
Right.
And about that, because it is important to have that mix, I can tell you that with our publications, all stories are digital.
Right,
so,
they're online as well. Yeah.
Right, so you can actually share it with one button to your social media channels. So that, again, a second touch point. If you're volunteering in town, if you're running an event, that's another touch point. So print is not dead. Print is premium today. Right. And I want to stress that because...
And it's not that expensive.
No, there is, and I'm glad you touched on that, Jon, because there's definitely... a package for every budget, right? And like I said, if you can't afford something every month, then do it every other month. Right. We have people who do that every month, and then they switch from one magazine to the other. Or I want to cover both areas. But the most important part is consistency and being seen. Your ad is the billboard that brings you to your website. Like that's the goal is
they
awareness. Yes. Awareness, consideration, and then purchase. That's the way we as human beings buy.
So being the president of the chamber, what are some things, we have a big realtor audience. So what are some of the things that either small business owners or people like realtors that service the community, how can they collaborate more? How can they get involved a little bit more to build a stronger network and get more business?
Well, one is, I would say, join our chamber, not just our chamber, but other chambers, right? Because it's important to build those relationships. You're going to see a lot of the same folks showing up, but then you're also going to see a lot of new members, right? Because that's the two things I talked about. We measure retention and growth, and having new events and new opportunities for our members to get promoted and get to know each other. The second thing is, so we have a monthly coffee with the chamber. We also have hosted and will be hosting other evening events. And we'll be doing again we did this year, December, we had our first Toys for Tots program, which thank you so much. You guys filled out the boxes 3 times over here in Signature Realty Short Hills. And so we will be doing that as well. So reach out to me, get involved, and just say, yeah, I want to help with any upcoming events. I want to help, not just show up, but also volunteer. In the future, when we have new board member openings, they may want to sit in that seat and be an additional higher level of volunteerism, because it does require time. So they can show up to join the chamber.
Right.
Not just our chamber, but other chambers. Attend the events. And, if they think of something that they want to do, that they feel, in the fall, maybe we can do,
special event. Yeah.
Special events, some fall
or
wine tasting exactly.
Yeah.
So talk to me and let's figure out how we can do this. Because that's something that I always say to every Coffee with the Chamber event is, if you have any ideas, anything that you want to share with us that we can bring to you, please see me. And that's something that as a board, we will work on for you.
Yeah. My advice for everybody too is always connect with the organizer, right? Whoever's organizing that specific event, ask them, like, this is my ideal person that I'm looking to get in touch with. Here's the ideal people that I want to connect with, and ask them, because they're the ones that know everybody in the room.
Yes.
Right. And that's always valuable. And also introduce other people to the chamber.
Yes.
Right? You might be a commercial real estate agent and you have business owners, and you ask them, hey, are you part of the chamber? Oh, no, I'm not part of the chamber. You should be part of the chamber. Let me introduce you. And then you connect that person with all these people. And it doesn't matter it could be a pizzeria, right? Like, people in the chamber might have a pizza party in their office, and then they order from you because they know you, because they met you at the chamber. That's how chambers work. Chambers work, you kind of go out of your way a little bit to try to recommend that IT person instead of, Googling and finding some random company that you've never met. And that's where networking, in my opinion, works really well, where everybody collaborates and we try to feed each other business, and you're not thinking of you. You're saying, how can I help this person?
And that's a key point. I can tell you, having been in business for 5 years and having been part of local and countywide chambers, is don't walk in thinking, I'm going to get a client today.
Right.
Walk in thinking, what relationships can I build today?
Right.
And
how can I serve?
And how can I serve? How can I recommend? In our last Coffee with the Chamber, we had it at London Jewelers in the Short Hills Mall, and we had an architect who shows up, and he may not attend all the time, but he was there. And we when we introduced each other around the room, at the end, again, it's relationship based. If you know someone who's going to be doing a home renovation or a corporate office, a corporate project, reach out to him. Go into your directory, because then that person will remember you. And they will also refer you, because I like to think that we are not just a chamber, but we're a community. And when you help each other, it just makes the community stronger. So don't walk in thinking, transaction. Walk in thinking, how can I help? Who can I build a relationship with that gets to know me? Because then they will know you as someone, not just as the real estate expert, but also the community connector. It's a good way of putting it, like someone who's really engaged in the community. You mentioned the pizza. We ordered 200 boxes for that 5K.
There you go.
So again, those are all things that, do they know the little coffee shop owner in town?
And it's not expensive to be part of the chamber.
It is not. And it's something
very
that
inexpensive.
Our coffees are in the morning once a month. And that's intentional, because it allows you to pop in and either, be engaged with other local business owners, but also major brands that are also part of the chamber as well. Cooper and Barnabas is a major sponsor. And I think it's important to understand the mix of those that make up a chamber, and that this is your one-on-one opportunity to get to know them.
Right. And a lot of people in the business development side of big companies are in the chambers.
Yes.
Like that's part of their job.
Yes.
Right. To be involved in the chamber, get the community on their side and get exposure. So, let's say you're a licensed agent And, do some of these big businesses have, a specific agent that comes in and educates people on, buying their first home? And you could be that corporate referral for them, right? So you can coordinate events with other business owners to help come in and not just make an introduction to somebody, but you can collaborate and say, you come and do a presentation to my people, and I come and do a presentation to your people. There's a lot of affiliations and collaborations that you could do, not just with the chamber, but also members of the chamber.
And I like to say, people buy into you, right? We purchase from people that we like.
Right.
And when you walk into a chamber event or any networking event, and you think of it as a, how can I give? How can I build relationships? How can I walk away with a meaningful connection versus a transaction? That will pay off in the future.
Right.
It will.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you make a lot of good connections. People that you wouldn't think to market to or advertise to, that a lot of them are not connected to you on social media, right? So you're kind of going a little bit broader. Like, for example, I met Steve, right, from Explore Millburn.
Yeah.
And, he already made a bunch of connections with me because he's got local people in town that are looking to rent, business owners. Sometimes the spaces work, sometimes they don't. And he's like, can you help them find a space? And we coordinate, helping them get through the variance process and the land use and the zoning. And that's not anybody that I would ever think to try to prospect to, right? Like, I would never think to, prospect to somebody, that is, basically working with people that are coming to town.
Yeah, works for the town.
So it also broadens your scope of connections and networking, and you never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity.
And I'm going to say, I'm glad you said that. You never know who you're going to meet. Don't discount someone because you think that they're an at-home business, because you don't know their network.
Right.
You don't know.
And their social media presence. So, and especially in the affluent service areas that we are in, if you're looking to, be an agent for a high net worth client, just keep an open mind when you walk into any networking event. Is take a genuine interest in that person, because get to know them, because you don't know that maybe that at-home business is not the major, brand with the gorgeous showroom, but it's someone that can give you business as well. And again, relationships first. Yeah, and as a realtor specifically, because we have a pretty big realtor audience, we just rented a house in Bayhead going down the shore. And you drive in, and before you're in Point Pleasant area, there's a couple billboards. And, a lot of people are like, do billboards still work? It's the traditional marketing. Like, why not just do social media if you're going to spend $2,000 a month on a billboard? And it's interesting how one realtor in particular uses one of the billboard spaces. So I guess she's got it rented out all year, and she always puts a listing on it. So she doesn't put her information on it. So she gets listings because she tells sellers, your house will be on this billboard. And the last one that's on there is $6 million house. And then I checked, it's pending, right? So all these people get exposure. And I think you could do the same thing with magazines, right? You, instead of focusing on you could advertise one of your customers, right? One of your listings, or offer that in a big listing opportunity. You get a big listing in, Short Hills or in Chatham or in affluent area, Morris County, say, I will run an ad for you in this magazine. And of course you have your face on there with your information to be contacted, but you're essentially featuring the home. And if that home has a story, right, then it's even better, because then you can do
a history or
some sort of collaboration, with you. So,
but that's a very powerful thing to use your marketing dollars to show one of your properties, because it shows that they are investing in themselves and in their brand. And if you list with me, I will take, in your example, that billboard and promote your property. This is in Middletown. This isn't in the area. So again, similar to the Elisa from LBI, right? She promotes real estate that is not in the area. She uses her ad and her stories as well to not just, hey, let me show you around town, but also let me show you what's available for you if you want to be part of the LBI community.
Yeah, and you guys are super creative with, making sure that the connection can happen because, like, let's say you do kitchens, right? Focus on showcasing or case study or do a case study on a kitchen that you did for a Millburn homeowner if you're going to be in the Millburn magazine.
Yes.
Obviously with that homeowner's permission, right?
Oh, of course.
But I think that kind of creates a connection like, oh, one of my neighbors already used this company and the kitchen came out beautiful and, they're talking about it. Maybe you interview the homeowner, things like that. There's a lot of opportunities. So
I'm going to touch on something you said at your NJ Res event. Mm-hmm. And you said that real estate changes over about 4% every year in our communities. Mm-hmm. The most powerful advertisement is word of mouth. Mm-hmm. But what happens when your word of mouth leaves? Right? There goes that opportunity for a referral. And that's why it's important to be seen. And this is where the power of print comes in because we park ourselves. There's no subscription needed. So we park ourselves just like Signature Living, right? In their mailboxes, providing valuable content that they look forward to getting. So that homeowner moves out, the new homeowner moves in, gets to know you through the publication.
Yeah, and I feel like we flip-flopped. Before you would just throw out all your mail, right? But if you get a beautiful piece and there's something in there, people will save it, right?
Yes.
Especially older folks, they'll save it. They'll rip it out of the magazine or they'll keep the magazine and they'll keep your story, your advertisement and say, I'm going to need this in the future. And we've had that before. It's like, oh, I've had this for a while and then they'll call you later. I feel like on social media, it's tough to do that because then you have to bookmark it. You need to add it to a folder and then you have to try to find it. And, it's more disposable social media because you're kind of just scrolling. So it's something to definitely consider.
It is. It's in your face, right? Yeah. But also not just the homeowners. We also mail out to over 1,000 area businesses with waiting areas.
Right.
So I can tell you how many times I've gotten calls from our advertising partners, and I call them partners because I wouldn't have a publication without them.
Right.
To say Wentworth Gallery. Oh, I got a call that a mom was in the waiting area while her son was having his teeth cleaned, and she's flipping through the magazine and saw, one of the pieces of art that we were advertising and called in and, wanted to know more about it and came in and purchased it. So that's where the power of print is meaningful, right? And again, in combination with other, marketing mix of social media and just being seen in town.
That's awesome. So if you had to give one piece of branding advice to a new real estate agent trying to stand out, right? They're new, right? Mm-hmm. So they're kind of invisible. What advice would you give them to stand out?
I would say learn from the best. Right? So start by analyzing who's doing this right, like Signature Realty and Michelle, and say, what tips can I learn? What advice can I get to start in my own journey? I know you have your own training, and you're amazing what you do with this Signature brand. But just once you go past that is invest in yourself. Invest in starting to be in a combination of what your marketing mix is going to be. Like I said, if you can't afford, everyone wants the back cover, right? So if you can't afford the back cover, start off with a 1/4-page ad and maybe do it every other month. Learn about social media. If you're not savvy, go to YouTube, just learn to have a mix of, print, digital, and be genuine. Above all, people want to work with you because they liked you. They like something about you. Be genuine about your relationships, about the connections you build, and just be a part of the community.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Great advice. I feel like a lot of people are scared of self-promotion sometimes. And as a service provider, you have to believe in what you do. And you have to say, I'm the best person for the job. And even if you're new, that's okay. You can use that as an advantage. Say, well, I have a little more time to focus on selling your property, right? Instead of, having 10 clients, I have you as my priority and your client. So, believe in yourself and believe in doing self-promotion, advertising yourself, telling your story, because people will connect with you and people do business with people that they know, they like, and they trust, right? So you get in front of them and you get that visibility And this is one great way to do that. So I'm glad, she gave you some really, really awesome advice. You guys have the opportunity to go to the chamber, right? Go to the website, check out all the events, not just the Millburn-Short Hills Chamber, but also other chambers as well, and reach out to Anna. We'll put all her contact information in the description below in our video. And don't forget to subscribe to the Signature Sip podcast. Check us out on YouTube and on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you, Anna, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.